Hey, I'm Onnie Michalsky. I am a wellness coach for moms who desperately need a break but refuse to take one. I help moms step out of that superwoman mentality, where we think that you need to be it all and do it all in order to be amazing moms. And I help them step into a life where they can embrace motherhood and learn to nurture their inner self. So, a bit about me is I moved here to Montana, to where I live now. I moved here from the suburbs of Philadelphia. So, a bit of a culture shock. 12 years ago, we moved. And when we moved, I was pregnant with number 5. We since then had one more child. So we have 5 girls total and one son. And our oldest is 20, all the way down to our youngest is 6. When we moved here, I was homeschooling. We moved and bought a hotel, and we had no experience with hotel life. It really was just my husband was doing construction, and so it was a huge fixer-upper project that we invested in, and it was operating. So I remember the first night we were doing laundry, and just laughing like, what the heck are we doing here? So it was crazy 12 years. But now we're at the point that we are moving on. We're moving back to our original destination, which is actually 100 miles away from here. So we are, the hotel's up for sale. Our house is up for sale. We're ready to get going across back to where we started. First, the place we aimed for in the beginning when we first moved. But 12 years ago, when we moved, we had a lot on our plate, and I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling stressed out, totally exhausted and depleted. I was getting to a point where I was pregnant, and yes, we could say it was postpartum, but it lasted a lot longer than postpartum. And I had postpartum after the birth of my twins, and that was like 14, 15 years ago. So I knew what that felt like. But it was really just, I felt crushing. Like I no longer enjoyed my role as a mom. And I was a stay-at-home mom when we moved here. And I could just feel like my energy, I had no energy. I had nothing. I was overweight. My health was bad. There was just a whole lot of things going on. And it was an intentional, I've got to do something about myself or else. So I was forced to turn my attention inward and to myself, because when everything was going on around me, I could see that I was the common denominator. I was the one that I had to change. I couldn't expect everyone else to change to make my life easier. So I had to make some adjustments. And so I did a lot of soul work, a lot of inner work, and seeing, shifting my priorities and seeing what changes did I need to make in order to make my life better, and not just my life, but more importantly, the life of all of those around me, because I was a giver. I constantly had to make sure that everybody was taken care of, that it was my job as a stay-at-home mom to make sure everyone else's needs were taken care of. And so it was not an easy task to turn that attention inward. But I had to get over a lot of limiting thoughts in order to do that. And I was able to do that. I was able to overcome those obstacles and do the work and rearrange my priorities and make my day reflect what was important to me. And by doing so, I was able to, I've done a lot since then. I was able to lose weight. I was able to discover some passions. I started running. I started doing a lot of things that I would not have done otherwise. And when I first got certified as a wellness coach or as a health coach, this was last year, I immediately went to weight loss, because that was what I did. I had such success with losing weight that I thought that was what I wanted to work with women. I always knew I wanted to work with women, but I immediately went to that. But it did not feel right. It did not feel aligned with my values, which I think if you want to lose weight, I I got special, like I became a specialist in weight management, but it never felt really what I wanted to do. And then more recently, I started doing some more digging, and I realized that it doesn't matter if I wanted to lose weight or not. What mattered was that I started practicing self-care. And, it just happened to be that I needed to lose weight, and that was what happened. It was basically a byproduct of being able to take care of myself. And back then, and to this day, I do factor in time that I'm going to focus on my own growth and my own self-development. Now that's changed over the years, and I've had to redefine according to my seasons, the seasons of the life that I have been in, that definition and how I define self-care definitely has changed. But what hasn't changed is the effect that when I turn that focus inward and I make the time to make myself a priority, and that's not to say that I don't prioritize my kids or my family, because I absolutely do. But when I raised myself up to that same level, the effects were huge. I am such a better mom, wife, daughter, sister, all of that, all of the hats that I wear. When I'm taking care of my own needs and making sure that I'm taken care of, then I show up so much better, and I have so much more to give when my own bucket is filled, which is super ironic, because I was like, there's no way, and I talk to moms now that are saying, I feel so guilty if I, to take that time, if I was to take 20 minutes of time, and it's, that guilt, I felt it too. I really did. I remember way back when, and my friend was like, what do you mean you won't let your mother-in-law take your kids? And I was like, I could never do that. The guilt was so heavy that I remember just being like, it seemed so not, there was no way in hell that I would do that. And I had to get past that mindset, kind of loosen the reins and let go of some of that control, and know that the house is not going to fall apart, or that, that it's not selfish. Because when I take that time for myself, or not take, when I make that time for myself, I come back ready to face everything with such power and such, I don't even know the word, such vigor, that I'm just I'm that much better of a mom when I do that. And so getting over that guilt, and that, changing my mindset was a big part of my whole journey. And so now I work with women who were in the same place I was years ago. And I help them provide structure to their day, and so that it works for them, and I help them get over their own, change their mindset, and start incorporating small acts of self-care. And by self-care, I mean self-love, because when you're caring for yourself, you're showing yourself love. Just like when you're caring for somebody else, when you're caring for one of your children, it's an act of love. Well, the same thing applies when you're caring for yourself. And so that is what I help women do, because I want other moms to experience the transformation that I experienced. And I want other moms to have that joy. And our kids are only young once. They grow up so fast. You hear it all the time, in a blink of an eye. It's so true. And so I want you to be able to embrace motherhood and learn to enjoy the journey. So that is what I do. And I have a Facebook group. If you're interested in becoming part of my community, I started a group, and in it I am constantly posting things. It's a new group. Relatively new. There's some groups that have been for years, but I really want it to be a place for us to exchange resources, for us to, for you to have that support of other moms who are on the journey, and we're all working together the group is actually called Moms Without Capes, and it's kind of like a play on the whole Superwoman mentality thing and kind of just show up. You know, we're not expecting you to be Superwoman in this group. It's not a place to brag. It's not a place to, kind of, I want you to come there to be able to relax, sit back, and be yourself there. And if you don't know who yourself, that's not going to be very good English. If you have lost yourself when you put on your mom's hat, I want it to be a place where you can rediscover who you are through the eyes of the other members. So look it up. It's called Moms Without Capes. And come join us. I would love to have you as part of my community. I also offer a free consultation. If you're interested in seeing what I offer in my coaching program, sign up. I encourage you, even if you are not 100% sure that coaching is what you would like or need, I would love to have that opportunity to talk with you and to get to know you some and see where I can serve you, even if you're not willing or ready to invest in a whole coaching program. So sign up for a call. I'd love to talk with you.